Greetings LEGO and D&D nerds, my name is Ian and welcome to Brick Bestiary, the show where I show you how to build D&D creatures out of LEGO bricks. Today's creature actually comes not out of this book, but out of this book. You may have noticed that June 1st rolled around, and with it came a slew of new LEGO releases, one of which is this new set, the Lord of the Rings Book Nook, featuring Gandalf facing off against the Balrog in the iconic scene. It's a pretty cool set, but there's been a lot of discussion about the price. The set is priced at $130, and a lot of people say that is pretty steep. And I agree, I understand there's a lot of considerations here. LEGO sets have been increasing in price along with inflation, it's a licensed set and those always go for more. And it's the same price point as the Sherlock Holmes Book Nook, which also released on the 1st. But if you compare the two, the Balrog Book Nook is just so much emptier. The Sherlock Holmes Book Nook is a whole street corner. There's like the facade of 4 buildings on it. And the Balrog one is just kind of like some columns with fire in the middle, and then there's the Balrog. And that's kind of it. There's just not a lot going on to justify the price being quite that high. Similarly sized LEGO mech figures can run in like the $50 to $90 range, depending on if it's licensed or not. And so a lot of people are understandably disappointed. But to those people I say never fear, because the beauty of LEGOs is that you can just build it yourself, which is exactly what I am going to be doing today. This is my version of a LEGO Balrog, which I put together this week. I don't know if I'll find an excuse to use him in my LEGO D&D campaign. We don't run a very Demons and Devils heavy game, but if I did and I wanted staff, I would look in the Monster Manual 2014 on page 55 at the Valor. This creature is basically just a generic Balrog. In fact, in earlier editions of D&D, this same creature was just called a Balrog, and then the Tolkien estate sued them. So these days we have the Balor, which is a huge fiend and looks pretty much like a Balrog except painted red. If you prefer devils over demons for some reason, there's also the Pit Fiend on page 77. Very similar, just a size class smaller and a challenge rating class tougher. But either way, you've got a couple of options to throw this fiery beast at your players and see if your wizard will step up to make a Gandalf style last stand. So now let's take a look at how I built this guy, and as always, there will be a Bricklick parts list down in the description below if you want to pick up all the pieces and build your own. Let's start off with the body. We're going to begin with this brick that has 2 ball joints on the 2 sides, and we'll place on the bottom of that a 2x2 rounded bottom piece. Then I'll take one of these mixel ball joints attached to a 1x2 and place it on the back, stacking 2 black 1x2 tiles on top of it, and then in front of that I will place these 2 headlight bricks. Then I'm going to take these 1x2x2 bricks that have snot studs all on the front and the 2 sides, and then I'm going to place them here and here, and then take 2 more, and I'll stagger the orientation so these 2 will go on like this. That way it's a little more secure. Then I'll take 2 of these 1x3 sloped wedges and lock them together with a 1x2 plate, and I'll clip that onto the side of the lower set of these snot bricks. I'll do the same thing for this side, and then I'm going to take these 2 2x2 round pieces in translucent orange and place them on the sides of the upper 2 set of snot bricks, and then I'll take these round tiles with a center hole and place them on the ends so that we can still access that Technic connector, but we have a nice smooth surface here. Now on this side, we have a whole bunch of studs here in the very bottom. I'm just going to take this 1x2 tile, and on top, I will take a 2x4 plate, followed by one of these 2x4 trapezoid plates like this. And then on these 4 studs in between, I'm going to take these quarter round pieces and place them facing inward like this to kind of form some ab muscles for our Balrog. Then on the top, I will take a 2x2 plate and stack it on top of these studs here with a 1x2 at the back. Then at the front, I'll take another one of these 1x2 with a mixel socket on the front, and I'll clip this orange ball joint on a pin into that hole there. I'll stack another 2x2 on top, and then I'll take these modified 1x1s with the horizontal clips and place them at the back. Next, I'll take this 1x2 with a clip and another 1x1 with a clip and connect them together like this. I'll place that onto the side of this 1x2 bracket that points downward, and then I'll connect this bracket onto the front of this slightly covering the mixel joint like that. Then I'm going to take this clip here and I'm going to twist it backwards until it hits the other one. So that's as far back as it will go. And I will do the same thing on the other side with the bracket, the 1x2 clip, and the 1x1 clip twisted backwards. Now let's move on to the back. I'm going to take these two 2x3 wedge plates and I'm going to place them along the bottom here with a single 1x2 on the top stud. Doesn't really matter what color, I'm going to use orange. Then I'll take these 1x1 bricks with a Technic axle hole and I will connect them on the last two top studs here with the axles pointed up. Then I'll take this triangular wedge piece and I will place it over top of the whole thing, locking in place those Technic axle bricks. And into those axles I will place these two long pins and these two ball joint sockets like this. I'm going to go ahead and clip the ball joints in now. I just want to make sure that the joint is facing outward. It may seem kind of odd to put them in the socket first before putting them on the wings, but it'll be a lot easier this way, trust me. Then finally, I'm going to take another one of these 1x2 brackets and I'm going to place it in this gap here, covering the Technic joinery, and lock it onto the triangle piece with this 2x2 round tile. Now we want to cover the whole top of the back here in fire. We have a whole bunch of exposed studs here and a whole bunch of clips. So we're going to start by taking a 1x2 plate and putting it on the front. Then we'll take 4 of these 1x1s with an open stud and place them 2 on top of the plate and 2 right behind it, like that. Then I'll take these 2 studs with a bar on the top and place them right behind those. And onto those bars, I will attach the clip from 2 of these chunky robot arms here and here. And now we start adding flames. I'm going to take 6 of these little feather flames. I'll place 2 in the open pinholes of those bars that the robot arms are connected to. 2 of them will go into the front bar socket of the 2 arms, and the final 2 will go into the top bar socket here and here. Then I'll take 4 of these tall flame elements and I will place them into the open studs on the back. I'm going to angle them slightly in here and here, alternating color here between the old, more vibrant translucent orange and the newer, slightly more muted translucent orange. I like the nice mix of the two. It makes the fire look more varied. Then we'll take 6 more of those tall flames and we will connect them to all of the clips that are on the sides here. So we have one here, this one that's angled back here, and this one next to the robot hand that I maybe should have done for the angled one. We'll do that one first on this side, then the angled one, and then the front one. Then I'm going to take 2 of these 1x2s where both of the studs are open and 4 more of the flame elements, and I'm going to stick a flame in each open stud like this. The other one I'm going to do the same but angle them in the opposite direction so that when the 2 are put together they form a little triangle of fire like this. These I'm going to place onto these open studs of the bracket here, covering the Technic from the ball sockets. I'm going to place the center pin on the bottom here into the stud socket so it kind of spans this gap here, just like that. And then finally I have 2 more of these feather flames which I'll put into these 2 axle sockets on the back of the ball joints, just like. Last but not least for the body section is the tail. I'm going to take 2 of these mixel joints that have a ball and a socket on each end. I'll clip them together and I will put 1x2 plates on the bottom and 1x2 tiles on the top. Then into the open socket end, I'm going to clip this Technic half pin with a ball joint on it. I will add this Technic pin connector and this black dinosaur tail element. Then I'll just add one of these small black horns into the end of the tail, and I'll clip the ball joint into the socket on the back of the Balrog's body segment. And now let's move on to the legs. For the upper part of the leg, we're going to take these 2 2x2 bricks, one with a ball and one with a socket, and we're going to join them together with these 2 1x4 plates, one on the bottom and one on the top. Then we're going to take a 2x2 bracket pointing down in orange and a 2x2 bracket pointing up in black, and we're going to interlock them on the other side like this and like this. and then we'll just fill in these two gaps with 1x2 plates here and here. On the top, we're going to put a 2x4 tile, and on the bottom, we're going to put this rounded 2x2 right in the center. And then on the snot studs here, we're going to take this 2x3 slope spoiler piece on the bottom and this little 1x2 slope spoiler piece on the top. We're going to build another one for the other side that's going to be essentially the same but mirrored. So these two 1x4s will go on this side. Then we'll take our brackets and our 1x2 plates, put those together, and then the tile, the underside round piece, and the two spoilers will go on the same. So we'll have two upper leg pieces that are mirrored. For the foot, I'm going to start with a 1x3 plate, on the end of which I'm going to place a 1x1 bracket that angles down. Then I'll lock that in place with this 1x2 slope and put a 1x1 tile on the back side like this. Then I'm going to take a headlight brick and place it beneath with a cheese slope on the back. We want it to be angled like this. This is going to be the bottom of the foot, so in that orientation the cheese slope should face down. Then we'll stack two 1x2 plates here and take this 2x2 bracket that points up and place it there, locking it in place with another 1x2 here. Then I'll take a 1x1 bracket that points up and I'll place it in this opening here, and I'll put two dark gray cheese slopes on the ends of those brackets to kind of form the claw-like toes there. Next, I'm going to take one of these 2x2 tile pieces that forms a bracket with this 1x1 plate. I'm going to take a 2x2 brick with a socket on it, place that on the underside of the plate like this. I will lock it in place on the front with this 2x2 slope and place one of these 2x2 rounds on the bottom. Then that will go on to the foot like this, and the foot will clip. So I've just realized that these are actually at the wrong angle here, so I'm going to extradite this socket piece like this, and this needs to be pointed in this direction, so it needs to be facing down. That way we get a sort of knee orientation. So I'll just put these pieces back on, and now you can see when we clip the sockets together, we have a leg with a knee and a foot. So let me real quick fix this one. There we go. We'll just pretend that that was like that the whole time. And then we'll move right along building a foot for the other side. So we have the 1x3 with the bracket and the slope, and a tile to fill in that space there. Then a headlight brick, cheese slope, two 1x2 plates and the bracket with another plate and a slope here and a bracket here. The toes, and then the ball socket on this bracket with a slope, a 2x2 round, and that will connect to the foot, which will connect to the leg. These two legs can then snap onto the sockets on the bottom of the body, and our Balrog can now stand up for himself. Next, we'll build the arms, starting with two identical upper arm pieces. We're going to be using these 2x2 bricks with sockets, onto which we will connect a 2x2 slope, and then underneath that, one of these mixel ball joints. On the bottom, we'll use two of these 1x2 inverted slopes to lock that together, and then we'll fill in this gap with a 1x2 plate, and on the top we'll place this 1x2 spoiler piece like this. Then we're going to take a 3-long Technic axle and place a ball joint on the end of it, pop that into the socket, and that is one of our upper arm pieces. We're going to make the other one exactly the same. There's no mirroring happening on this upper arm piece. These ones are just perfectly identical. So we'll connect the mixel joint with the slopes, fill in that space there, and add the spoiler, and then add the ball joint and the axle. The lower arm pieces will be mirrors of each other. We're going to start with a mixel joint that has the ball and the socket, one on each end, and we're going to sandwich it between two brackets, one facing up and one facing down. On the downward facing one, we're going to place a tile on this surface, and on the upward facing one, we're going to place these two half round tiles like this. Then on the top, we'll place a 1x1 brick and this wedge cut slope like this. And then the other one, we're going to do the same thing, except we're going to reverse the direction of the brackets. so that the under bracket is on the outside, the over bracket is on the inside, and the cut wedge still goes at the top. So we now have these two mirrored lower arm segments. Those clip into the joints here on the ends of the upper arm segments. And now we need to build some hands. We're going to start with the socket version of the mixel joint. We're going to place this 1x2 plate with the 3-segmented bar on it on top, and then a 1x2 tile. 3 of these robot claws will be our fingers, and then we're going to flip it over, place a 1x1 plate here. Then we're going to take this 1x1 with a bar and slide a hollow stud down the length of the bar and attach a final robot claw like this to be the thumb. We will then place this onto the 1x1 there, and that will form our hand. This we can connect to the arm here. We'll angle our segments like that. And then the other hand will be virtually identical. We'll stack the mixel joint and the bar piece here with the tile, add our first 3 fingers. This time the 1x1 is going to go on the top because we want the thumb to be facing the other direction. And also this time, instead of a black hollow stud, we're going to slide onto this bar a translucent orange chain. This will be our Balrog's whip. And so we're going to attach it here to the hand so that he can be holding it. We'll then go ahead and clip that on like we did before and add our last robot clip to be the thumb. I'll curl these fingers in kind of around the chain here. We will add a second link to make our whip a little longer. And then on the end, I'll add one of these feather flames that kind of splits into 3 here to make it look like the whip flails out. I'll go ahead and connect that hand, and then we'll bring our body back into picture. These Technic pins here will slide into the cylinders like this and like this. And now our Balrog has arms. Now before we add the head, let's quickly do the wings. We're just going to be using a set of these dragon wings here that have a sort of dark red on the top and black on the bottom. I will insert into the lower socket here a Technic pin and then connect this 2 long Technic arm here. Then I have this Technic adapter that is 3 long, 2/3 pin, 1/3 axle. I will slide that through both of these sockets here, and of course I will need 2 of these identical wings. I will then put the axles into the sockets on the ball joints that we left open earlier. It's much easier to just slide these Technic axles in than to try to clip the ball joints into the sockets at this stage. And now our Balrog has wings. He is only missing a head. And now finally, the head. We will start with one of these old camera pieces that has snot studs on 2 sides. We're going to take 2 of these 1x2 brackets that point up, and we're going to place them on the sides with these studs facing down. So we have studs on the bottom here and the bracket studs on the top here. Then we'll take this hollow stud, place it on the end of the socket here. These 2 1x1 triangle pieces we'll place at the back of the brackets here and here. And then we'll take 2 1x1 brackets angled downward, and we're going to place them on top just above the triangles here and here. On the bottom of this first stud, I'm going to place a 1x1 with a clip, and then a 1x1 plate with a tooth will go on either side like that. I'll cover those studs with cheese slopes, and then I will take a black pair of minifig binoculars and place them on this front stud like this. Then we will add 2 1x1 translucent orange studs to be the eyes. I like this older color of translucent orange. It's a little more neon, kind of gives a little bit more of a scary glowing effect to the eyes. On top of those, we will place 1x1 plates and 2 cheese slopes pointed inward. Then I'm going to take these 2 2x2 wedge pieces and place one on each side like this. Then I'll place 2 more cheese slopes at the back like that. Onto the bottom side where this stud overhangs here, I'm going to place a headlight brick on each side. And onto that exposed stud, I will place another cheese slope angled to follow the shape of the wedge. There's now 1 exposed stud from the bracket on each side. onto which I'm going to place a stud with a bar. It will be angled slightly to fit through this gap here between the wedge and this cheese slope, and the same thing on this side here. Then I'm going to take a 1x3 plate, and I'll attach onto the ends 2 of these 1x2 slopes that are cut into wedges like this. In the stud in between, I'm going to place a bracket facing down, and then I'm going to take another facing down bracket and I'm going to place the snot stud onto the center bottom of the plate like this. Then I'll take a 1x2 slope and place the top stud onto this bracket like this. Then I'll take another one, put a 1x1 into the gap, and place that bottom stud onto this bracket like this. And this is actually going to fit right into the gap in our Balrog's head. So I want to slide it down in here and then clip so that the plate connects to the 2 wedge plates at the top. That'll give our head a lot more structural stability. And now we can work on the bottom jaw. I'm going to take this blaster piece that has snot studs on the sides and front and back, and a handle here. Onto that handle, I'm going to stack 2 translucent studs that have a hole through them like this. And then on the open stud on the underside here, I will place a 1x1 orange plate. A 1x1 tile will go on the front, and a 1x2 will go on the bottom like that. On each side, I'm going to place 2 1x1 tooth plates like this, and then a stud behind them here and here. I'll place this ingot tile on the back just to cover up that exposed stud, and then onto these studs here, I will place the bottom of a 1x2 slope here and here, and then I'll take a 1/4 round and place it on the exposed stud on the tooth plate here, and another one here. Because these are round studs here, I can actually angle these teeth forward a little bit. I just have to twist the tiles accordingly so that stays square, but that gives me a little more forward angle on the teeth. I will then connect the jaw by taking this top translucent stud and placing it on this opening right here. So he just needs some giant horns. I'm going to start with this 2x2 round cone. Onto the bottom, I will place a 2x2 round plate, and into the Technic pin socket there, I will place one of these robot claws. Then I'll take a stud with a 45-degree bar and place that into the opening on the end, followed by an open stud and a second stud with a 45-degree. Then onto the end of that, I will place a 1x1 cone and add one of these tiny horn pieces, which I want to curve the opposite way that the 45s are, so we kind of get this recurve to the horn. And then I will build one more exactly the same with a 2x2 cone and plate with a clip in the end. I will make my little chain of 45-degree bars connected with that open stud, the cone, and then the recurve horn here. I want to position the clips so that they are parallel with the horn. Then I can clip them onto these exposed bars right here. I also want to try to angle it so that these gaps in the sides of the plate are parallel with the horn and the clip. That way, when I attach it, the corner of this cheese slope kind of sits in one of the openings here, which allows the horns to hug a little tighter to the face. Once they're on, I can position things to make sure that they're both at the same angle in all directions like that, and then I will attach the head by sliding the pin from this orange ball joint into this open stud socket at the back of the head. So that is my take on a Lego Balrog. Let me know in the comments down below how you think this guy turned out. I'm pretty happy with him. It was a fun challenge kind of designing some of the curves of the face. I wanted to go for a brick built look, of course, and that was another concern that a lot of people were voicing about the official Balrog, is that the face is just 2 tiles with stickers on them, and a lot of people felt like that was a cop-out, and I tend to agree. A lot of folks were saying they wanted to see a custom molded head, but I generally prefer a nice brick built look because you can accomplish those looks with bricks if you use them creatively, and I think that's kind of the whole point. So if you're looking to build one of these guys yourself, as I said before, there is a link in the description to a BrickLink parts list. There's a PDF if you just want to dig through your own bricks and find all the pieces you will need, and there's also an XML file that you could upload to BrickLink if you want to just purchase them all together. And I did run a price check on that list before I filmed this video, and the total for this guy came out to about $65 before shipping. shipping, which is about half what the official set cost, which is pretty good. It's also worth noting that a good chunk of that price comes from these wings, because these are from a classic Castle Dragon. They only appeared in one set, and they're going for about $12 each on Bricklink. So if you changed up the wings, you could save yourself like 24 bucks. There's an all black version of the same size wing that I think was going for a little cheaper, or you could build a little Technic frame and put some cloth or paper wings on him. But that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more LEGO D&D monster builds. And as always, be sure to let me know down in the comments below what creature you would like to see me build next.